How would your life change if you could see your dreams before they happen and make them real? Before Jim Carrey became famous, he was struggling to make ends meet as an actor and comedian in Hollywood. And despite the setbacks, he remained determined to succeed. To help visualize his success, Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, dated for Thanksgiving of 1995. And he kept it in his wallet, and this act was a bold declaration of his faith in his ability to achieve his dreams. Carrey would drive up Mulholland Drive, sit in his car, and visualize directors being interested in him and people he respected admiring his work. He focused on the feeling of success, believing it was already his. Remarkably, just before the date on the check, Carrey signed a contract for almost exactly $10 million for his role in Dumb and Dumber. This story not only illustrates the power of visualization, but also how Carrey's unwavering belief in his own success, combined with his talent and hard work, eventually led him to his big break in Hollywood. Welcome to the Master Your Moment podcast. I'm your host, Leslie, your guide into physical, mental, and emotional wellness. In today's episode, I'm going to help you discover all things visual, well, more like mind visualization techniques. And if you didn't know already, it's called observation for the O in Master Your Moment. So I say observation because you are observing the actions that you want to come true in your mind, and hopefully this leads you to take action towards that observation and make it a reality. So throughout this, I will still use the term visualization. Visualization is a super cool tool where you really dive back into those imaginations from your childhood. Who knew that was such an important part of life? So much that you also need it as an adult. You still might need that inner child to connect with. So, talking to your imagination is as the important aspect of reality and what can be realistic to actually happen in the world. You create images in your mind to visualize the things that you want to be true or to happen. Some people refer to it as manifesting. I like to refer to observation or visualization, but nonetheless, it's an amazing strategy for success. We all want to be successful, don't we? We all want to have goals and dreams and ambitions to come to fruition. And my friends, this is that tool. And not only does it help you with your goals, but visualization can also help you with self-care. Imagine your character traits, your feelings, or even a special state and safe place that you can go to. Visualize for gratitude or compassion, empathy for others. There are so many things that you can do with it, but ultimately it helps you become a better you because what you focus on is what is magnified. Observing the outcomes that you want is that focus, and you help magnify it enough because it's setting intention for your behaviors and actions that you want for yourself. So let's dig in a little deeper. And this is how you can create a safe self-care practice. So right now I have a couple of visualizing places that I have created in my own mind to take me back on those vacations. Sometimes they are memories, and the ones that are my most favorite, and sometimes I have to scan through them to see which one is going to best suit me for that day. But typically, if I'm going to do it for self-care, it's going to be going to a special place. And I have a distinct memory of being in Hawaii and going down on this trail with this huge bamboo, hearing the sound of the bamboo as it moves in the wind. Then we walk down this steep ravine and over some rocks to the small little watering hole where people were taking a little dip in the water. And I simply just imagined myself sitting there with my eyes closed and breathing in fresh air and hearing the sounds of the water and the birds and smelling the flowers around the area. And it can be so calming. And another one that I really like is simply just going to the beach, feeling the sand against my feet and listening to the ocean waves and feeling the breeze blowing on my skin and the warmth of the sun. And another favorite is this time that I went camping a few years ago and we took our dog. So every morning I'd take her on a walk in the woods. And one day on my way back to the campsite, I walked off towards this little river that flowed through some like giant rocks. And it was really early, so the sun had just risen. And there was this beautiful fog just resting on top of the water. And I just sat there with my dog Molly, and we just relaxed and created this beautiful moment and memory that I can always return to whenever I want. If you can, comment a special place that you enjoy visualizing. What sights do you see? What smells? What sounds? What do you feel on your skin? Even though I only use this technique occasionally, it's my tool for that vacation or that break that I need to practice my breathing. The one I use daily is typically for my goals. And because I'm such a visual person, I usually like to see this written down. So yes, typically when you think of visualization, you think of someone closing their eyes and bringing in their imagination. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm one of those people who does not think in black and white, and therefore I like to let people know that no matter what is said about visualization, know that there is not one thing is right over another, and how you practice what is going to work best for you. So with all of that said, my goal visualization is usually just listing the things that I want done that day. Then as I'm writing that list, I'm visualizing myself actively doing those things, and it doesn't have to take long and I'm not wasting time. But when I make the list, I see it in my mind, and since I've practiced it, I'm more likely to do it. Now, do I write everything? Maybe. Do I visualize everything? Definitely not. I typically will only visualize like my top 3. So what would that be? I choose one thing that's related to work, and that's what's the one thing that I want done in my job. And since I have 3 jobs basically, sometimes that one is a little bit more than maybe it needs to be. So just say, don't do what I do, okay? So then I have my next goal, which would be about my energy. And I imagine myself, what am I going to eat this day? How am I going to move my body? And what is my nighttime routine that I'm going to practice so that I can get that good sleep? Then my last one that I visualize is love. What am I going to do today to love someone more? How will I show up to be present with someone? Who will I see and interact with? How will I be treating them? And usually that's envisioning myself with a smile or an activity that I'm going to do with my family. The American Psychological Association defines visualization as the process of creating visual images in one's mind or mentally rehearsing a planned movement in order to learn skills or enhance performance. Everyone has the capacity to daydream, but here's the catch. It's random by its very nature. It happens unexpectedly, and there's no specific purpose behind it. Images come and go as they please, often without any logical connection. But when you're daydreaming, you could easily get intrusive thoughts. You could focus on something that's happened in the past, or create an anxiety that you currently have. Or you might be thinking of a to-do list and all the crazy things that you have to get done. Sometimes daydreaming can be difficult because it's consuming you in a negative way, because you aren't being intentional behind what you are seeing. That's where visualization comes in. So visualization is not random. It's not unexpected. It's usually undertaken with a definite purpose or goal in mind before that you can begin. Images will still kind of come and go, but now you're focusing on these images, on their relationship to each other, and on their significance to your underlying goal or purpose. You're putting into it with intention, where that is practicing a skill, practicing your behaviors, practicing how you speak or how you respond, practicing how you want to feel, or just simply visualizing a safe space to go to. Actually, I just recently read about this concept and I hadn't thought about it before, and that was how you can actually go on vacation anytime. Visualization is that tool to take you on that vacation. Go on an adventure and practice it vividly in your mind. So study looking at brain patterns in weightlifters found that patterns activated when a weightlifter lifted hundreds of pounds were actually similarly activated when they only imagined lifting the weight. In some cases, research has revealed that mental practices are almost effective as true physical practice. For instance, in this study on everyday people, an exercise psychologist from Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Ohio compared results in those who did physical exercises to those who carried out virtual workouts in their heads. And in the physical exercise group, finger abduction strength increased by 53%. In the group that did mental contractions, their finger abduction strength increased by 35%. However, the greatest gain, 40%, was not achieved until 44 weeks after the training had ended. This demonstrates the mind's incredible power over the body and its muscles. Brain studies now reveal that thoughts produce the same mental instructions as actions. Mental imagery impacts many cognitive processes in the brain: motor control, attention, perception, planning, and memory. So the brain is getting trained to actually perform its during visualization. It's been found that mental practices can enhance motivation, increase confidence, self-efficacy, improve motor performance, prime your brain for success, and increase states of flow, all relevant to achieving your best life. Rosabeth Moss once said, to illustrate the power of this technique, a vision is not just a picture of what could be. It is an appeal to our better selves, a call to become something more. Another technique or strategy that is super amazing is that of the vision board. I actually created these back in maybe like 2016, 2018, I can't remember the exact date, but I was working on creating a level 10 life. And I created not one vision board, but 10 vision boards for each area of my life. Things like health, finance, career, family, spiritual, my physical environment. You get the point. Then my goal was to use these and put them up for a focus each month of the entire year so that I can make a continuous process in all areas of my life, concentrating each month on that particular visualization. And actually, I bet that's the reason why I'm in a way healthier mindset than I've probably ever been, minus, like dealing with grief this past year. But so have you ever created a vision board? If you're like, that's too much work, yeah, I get it. I tend to be a little overachiever, and this strategy isn't for everyone. However, you could do something like just cutting out 1 to 3 pictures out of a magazine and then taking those with you wherever you go to remind yourself of your goals and your dreams. So I'll tell you another cool thing that I just started, because I'm one of those people whose mind literally never stops, and I'm always trying new things and creating new experiences for myself. I mean, it keeps my life interesting. So my latest adventure has been to create these cool necklaces. I've been really into making miniatures lately, and I watched these cool miniatures from Peculiar Ashley. If you don't know who I'm talking about, please go find her on YouTube. She makes the most amazing art pieces. Anyway, so I thought I wanted a statement piece, something that I can look at or other people can see that can help create conversation pieces. Then I stumbled upon this really cool person on Instagram who I don't remember what her name was, but she was creating 100 pennies in art. And I'm sure you could find that too on Instagram. She did amazing, and I was super inspired. It was mostly from nature items. So from the inspiration from Peculiar Amy and these pennies, and my latest camping adventure in Louisiana, I made a list of 10 memories to recreate and paint on these pennies. Then I created this little portal circle frame to glue around the penny and add some natural string and make this cool little pretty necklace as a special memory, and have this cool visualization of this moment that I can take and remind me of these amazing moments I've had in my life, which fuels me and provides me with the hope that maybe I need in a particular moment. And see, that's how you connect back to mastering your moment. There are a few mistakes that you can make when visualizing. So let's start with the fact that when you are visualizing is your ideal state. And what we can't predict might happen, but we might be able to predict to some degree the challenges or obstacles that we may face. So Obstacles may be inevitable, but they don't have to derail your efforts. One of the significant advantages of goal visualization is its ability to prepare you for challenges, envisioning the obstacles that you might encounter on your journey to success. Picture yourself overcoming these hurdles with grace and resilience. This mental rehearsal not only fortifies your mindset, but it also equips you with a proactive approach to potential setbacks. It's important to add this component to your visualization. See, the thing that happens may go wrong, and you add the solution so that you know how to respond. And another mistake could be not being clear on your intention. So continuing to increase the details and specifics of your visualization. Watch videos, read books, and learn what you may need to be doing, thinking, or feeling to help you visualize it better. As you visualize your success, incorporate affirmations to reinforce your belief in your abilities. This positive self-talk can boost your confidence and create a self-fulfilling prophecy of success. The more you visualize and affirm, the more your mind becomes aligned with the belief that success is not only possible, but is actually inevitable. Are you someone who is setting goals? I really think all of us should be setting goals. And if we aren't, well, then there must be something else that we need to evaluate to get some needs met if you're only trying to survive day to day. And even then, sometimes that's the goal. But the first step is having awareness of what your goal needs to be. So let's start with that. What do you want to accomplish? What have you been feeling and doing that you want changed? Then there's always this magic wand question that we use in counseling. And it's, if I could wave a magic wand over you and instantly become the person that you most admired and wanted to be like, well, describe to me, what is that person? Okay, good. Now maybe you have some awareness. Maybe you have another goal that you can then follow with step 2, and that is to gain clarity around it. How do you gain clarity? Well, you can start with your senses. Focus on your environment. What does that look like? Is it realistic? Don't imagine things that can't actually come to fruition. I mean, like you riding on a green elephant. How likely is that? Well, not unless you paint it. Okay, but for real, make sure that it's also specific about yourself. You do not need to be visualizing someone else. If someone else just treated you better, then things would just be better. Well, you know what? We can't change others. We can only change ourselves. And that's what I mean about being realistic. Okay, so now you've gained some clarity. The next step, dare I say, for those who hate to write, but it is to write it down. Writing down things helps us to process. Even when we speak, what happens too fast, it's really too fast for us to process. And it helps slow your thoughts a little bit more so that you can tend to be able to express things in a more clear way. Obviously, since I'm a little gray thinker here, that doesn't work for everyone. So if in all honesty, you want to do a video or audio record yourself, that's fine too. Do what works best for you. But you can video record what you wrote or what you want to visualize for this goal and then listen to it daily. This way, you won't have to put so much planning into the visualization each day, but eventually you may not even need the recording because you'll have experienced it so many times. Then obviously with all the great things, you want to tweak, change, update, reflect, shift your direction, and make new visualizations and new goals once you've gotten what you needed from that visualization. So what action steps do you need to take to make visualization a part of your daily routine? I think this may be trial and error, of course, for each person to discover, and sometimes you may want to mix it up. But overall, I like to do my visualization at night, sometimes so I can get out of me and prepare so I don't have anxiety or bad dreams about not doing something I want to be able to do the next day. In the morning, I may practice it and review it from the day again. Then, of course, I'll have those moments where I need to go to my special place when I'm stressed, overwhelmed, or just want a break. I also have moments that might make me a little nervous, like right before I do a podcast, I'm rehearsing how I want to greet the person that I'm interviewing, or when I have to do a presentation, I visualize myself feeling relaxed. My body posture shows confidence. I'm engaging with my audience. While I haven't done much public speaking, I think this practice will help me show up more relaxed and more prepared. So when do you want to incorporate visualization? What will it look like for you? Are you going to be more goal-oriented or more personal growth? Now, let me give you 5 tips for an effective visualization. First is vividness. This is all about the 5 senses: sight, sound, touch, smell, and even taste. In addition, you need to tap into how you want to feel emotionally when you play your sport or do the activity you're trying to visualize. You want to visualize from a first-person point of view and in real time. You are trying to make it feel as close as possible to actually being there and doing what you want to do. The realer it feels, the better. Visualize itself as a skill you will be able to better practice. It might be better for you to focus more on the sounds and physical feeling than the visual images. Regardless, don't make the mistake of over-focusing on what you are doing and not how you want it to emotionally feel while you do it. The second thing is to prepare for stress. One of the secret weapons of visualization is to actually prepare for potential distractions or stressors, like I've previously said, like pressure or adversity. This is what Todd Herman calls the positive power of negative script. It's more formally known as coping planning, where you plan how you will respond to stressful situations. Simply put, you want to visualize a situation where you might start out feeling frustrated, anxious, or distraction, but you're able to quickly reset and get more centered and move forward. This does not mean you visualize yourself making a mistake or a bunch of negative things happening. It's about the moments after. It is your response when you feel yourself being pulled away from the zone of your intended mental state. Mentally rehearsing for these potential stressful situations, you will be well prepared to respond effectively when they do arise. This can be the difference in getting derailed by adversity versus bouncing back, choking under pressure versus performing at your best, losing control of your emotions versus staying composed. So number 3 is the do plus feel process. The fundamental ideas of visualization is to imagine how you want to show up and do what you want to do. Unfortunately, most people focus on what they want to do and the results, and they miss how they want to feel while they do it. The majority of your visualization should be about the process, not the result. It is about what you do and how you do it that leads to that result. How you can visualize that intended result, but the benefit is rehearsing the actual process. The process is made of 2 key components: your actions and your emotions. In other words, what could you do and how could you feel while you do it? Mentally rehearsing the way you want to feel is the most important part. If you do visualization of yourself making an activity and achieving that result without any emotion, you will be just going through the motions and missing that key ingredient. But when you fill your visualization with how you want to feel while doing that activity, now you're tapping into the full power of your mind. Think of it this way. You might not do the action that you want to do exactly as you visualize it, but you want to feel exactly as you visualized. The mental state comes first, the actions come second. Number 4 is consistency. Another mistake people make is not doing visualizations on every day. If you only visualize times per week, that you're missing out on massive benefits of the compound effect. It's going to the gym to get stronger twice a week versus 5 times. The difference is huge over time. I recommend you visualize 4 to 6 times per week for 5 to 10 minutes per day while you are focused on your goal or approaching this task that you want to commit to. The consistent visualization will be beneficial in your practice habits, but it'll help you to stop putting the actual results on a pedestal. Prepare and practice can make them bigger than what they are. Although practices and games are different, they're more similar than you think. Whether it's a practice or a game, your job is to play with confidence, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep moving forward. By mentally rehearsing in both practice and your results, you'll help keep perspective and perform under pressure. Tip 5 is the setup and timing. High quality visualization, mentally demanding tasks. This is why it is recommended to not only visualize for 5 to 10 minutes per day. Similarly, you want to be mindful of the setup and timing to ensure optimal results so that you can remain focused. A common mistake people can make is to do their visualization lying down in bed before going to sleep, kind of like me. This can work for some, like me, it does work, but it could spill into about what you're dreaming. And the problem is you're likely to be too tired, the quality of it will suffer, and you might fall asleep without even finishing it. Instead, you want to find time that works for you. It could be in the mornings or closer to your specific practice or right before you're about to do your job or work or create your goal, so that's mentally fresh and works best for you. And then stick to it. You could listen to music during your visualization if it helps, but we recommend not to do so your full attention is on the task at hand. And you want to be able to sit up straight while you're doing your visualization, but you could lay down. Just don't fall asleep. An important piece to optimizing your visualization is creating a script. And here's a general template of what you could write. First, you want to take 3 deep breaths. Then you want to reconnect to your why. Going back to when you first fell in love with whatever that goal is, why do you want to accomplish that goal? And step 3 is a coping planning, from being prepared and finding those stressful events that may pop up. And step 4 is action planning. So reviewing that process and playing it over and over in your mind. And then step 5 is visualizing those past successes. So if you've previously had a success, you can relive some of those key moments or reinforce what you have already been capable of doing. And step 6 is to take deep breaths again, and that is your visualization. So now I've just covered a whole lot about visualization, and I hope this helps you practice this as a new skill and find what works best for you. We talked about visualization and how it actually is used, and we discussed how visualization can be used for self-care strategy to take you to a safe place, or even a way to instill memories that bring you hope and joy. We discussed the brain benefits of visualization and how it can help you achieve your goals. I even mentioned my own personal journey and techniques that I use to make visualization a part of my daily life. I also shared with you challenges that you may have encountered and how visualization can be a tool to overcome those. And last but most importantly, I gave you some step-by-step instructions on how to actually implement visualization routine. Well, if you really liked this information and you got out this far in the video, you might want to sign up for my free guide to Master Your Moment, where I teach you how to build your own moment through 6 self-care practices. So you can grab a copy of that through the link in the description, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to find more ways to master your next moment.